I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Vonte. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any other type of videos of any sort, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for the Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. Now, there's 3 of these documentaries, all directed by Penelope Spheeris, who would go on to direct Wayne's World, and then the Chris Farley film Black Sheep. She also did the Beverly Hillbillies with Jim Varney, who had played Ernest P. Worrell and other stuff. Among other movies too. But she kind of got her start doing documentaries like this, and the first one. And again, she did do with Part 3, but not going to do that because the requests were for these first 2. And I like the first one. It's for free on YouTube. It's about the punk era of 1979, 1980. And while I'm not into the music, I felt it was a very interesting look into the past. And very crazy, fly on the wall, delve into the punk era, how violent and aggressive it was. And I will say that one felt more real, more genuine. This I still enjoy. On one hand, I really like the music a lot more. This is more my kind of music, because you got Aerosmith, you got, and Steven Tyler and his buddy are interviewed, and you also hear the music. And you hear from Lemmy, Motorhead, Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, Gene Simmons from Kiss, Poison, Bret Michaels. Again, this is more my kind of music. And like I said, it's still interesting and entertaining. I do feel at times is a bit more staged compared with the first. I don't think everything is staged. But there are a few moments that you tell, okay, they probably stretched the truth here or there. But I still like the presentation. And again, the people they got. If you're a fan of 80s heavy metal, you got Aerosmith, Kiss, Alice Cooper, Ozzy, and Motorhead, Lemmy in the same film. And even Poison, Bret Michaels for extra. And it ends with Megadeth playing a song. I mean, if you're a heavy metal guy, and I would say I'm a heavy metal guy, it's pretty damn sweet. And it's interviewing these guys about heavy metal, the lifestyle of heavy metal. And a lot of times it's these guys thinking that they'll make it, and they'll make it big, and they'll be rock stars, and they love the women, and all that jazz. So you're interviewing with a lot of these guys, and then you'll see bands like stuff I never heard of. Lizzie Borden, Odin, London. What the fuck other bands were there? I'll think about it for a bit, but that's some of them. But yeah, it's... Okay, I'll go with that first. I was thinking... Sorry I was pausing for a minute. So some people go, well, what do you mean by the stage portions? Paul Stanley from Kiss. Anytime he's talked with, the camera's up high and either gliding towards his face or gliding away. He's on the bed, lying down. He's got 3 Playboy playmates cuddling him. And he's just talking like this, and literally he's looking up. He's talking like this, and the camera's back and forth. And, talk about, oh, money. Just, I mean, this just feels so fucking staged and fake and forced that I'm sure he's had women in his bed. I'm sure he's had women in his bed. But I guarantee you it's like, hey, I'm going to do an interview. Hey, let me call 3 ladies. You guys lay here. And some of the women, they're just laying and they don't do anything. I'm like, okay, this, again, it feels staged. Ozzy Osbourne, he's in a house. I don't even think it is his actual house. And, Ozzy is more coherent than you would see later in the Osbournes. And I do enjoy Ozzy quite a bit. It was always nice to see him on screen. I think a lot of the stuff he says is rather true. So I think that's genuine. But then there's a point where he's pouring the orange juice and then he's shaking and it's missing. That's been admitted after the fact that that portion was staged, embellished. Some say there's a scene later on, probably the more infamous scene, where you have the singer from W.A.S.P, or one of the people from the band W.A.S.P. He's in a pool, completely wasted. His mom is right there in the chair, and this guy's talking about how he's got a battle with drugs and alcohol, and yeah, I'll probably die in a few years. I don't know how much of that is real or not. From what I understand, when he pours the bottle, there's a portion he pours his whole bottle of alcohol. From what I understand, that was fake. That it wasn't really the alcohol, because if he was doing that, he'd die, because of the type of alcohol it was. But I think there's a kernel of truth to it, but it's embellished. You didn't have to do that. I don't know the first one. If it was, they did a damn good job, and I didn't notice. Here, you can tell some stuff is embellished. And you didn't need to do that. That's the problem with documentaries. You don't do that. Why? Because if one you're not sure about, then it gives you doubt on everything. What's true and what's not. Is that embellished? You start questioning everything. When you find 1, 2, 3 cracks in the armor, you question the whole piece of armor. Do I want this armor? Is it garbage? Do I want to throw it away? That is a problem. That's an issue. So that, I would say, is the big detriment of it. But what's fascinating, again, like the first movie, is the window through time of heavy metal in the late 80s. And hearing from people like Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, they get asked questions about... Oh, I made millions. So where is it? Went up my nose. I must have sorted all of Peru. Well, I thought that, like, I never thought I'd hear Steven Tyler from Aerosmith say that, but I thought that was really funny. I made millions. Oh, where is it? Went up my nose. I must have sorted all of Peru. So funny, I guess I had to quote it twice. I didn't see that coming, but I thought that was a rather funny quote. And yeah, Gene Simmons from Kiss and folks out there, Alice Cooper. And you tell that a lot of the guys, especially some of the lesser known rock and rollers, they thought they'd be rock gods. They thought this would last forever and be rock gods. And that's kind of an interesting way to look at it, almost on a psychiatric level, where you had all these bands: Wet Cherry, Cryptid Slaughter, Sex, Shotgun Wedding, Tough, Velocity, Odin, Lizzie Borden, London. You're like, what the fuck happened to any of these? I've never heard of any of these bands. And like, you have an 18-year-old interviewed, and he's a concert promoter. And one guy who dropped out of 7th grade, and it even has a little bit of glam metal. Glam metal being guys who put like lipstick and makeup, and they look like more girls than girls, because of the days of the crazy hair and the bigger hair and such. And about groupies, and look into the fact, well, are you taking advantage of a girl? Is the prostitution of a girl if she's paying for all your food and stuff? And how some of these guys have never had jobs, or one's in debt with $100,000. And Ozzy, if everyone else, said it best. You gotta be a businessman. You gotta look into this. So it goes to the glamour, the sexual nature of it. You have this older guy who loves rock and roll, I guess, and the funny thing where he repeats, Odin, Odin, Odin. And while all these girls are taking their clothes off. And a lot of these younger folks, Penelope, I will admit, sometimes Penelope Spheeris, I'm like, ask better questions. She says a lot of times, are you in it for the money? Are you in it for the chicks? Like the same question over and over again. I think Penelope Spheeris, you could ask better questions, more in-depth questions. But at the same time, you let some of these folks that are just so almost sad in the fact of so many, when asked, what if you don't make it? And they go, but I will. But what if you don't make it? But I will. There's no other question. And so many people gave that answer. I think that part was genuine. Where so many people are like, no, I'm going to make it. And one person's like, no, we're going to be gods. And, well, what happens if you don't? No, it's going to happen. I'm going to be the next Jim Morrison. What if you don't? Well, I don't know. I guess, maybe commit suicide. And that's the thing. You get these things that, yeah, maybe they say it just to be outrageous. But some of them do believe that. They really, truly believe that. But it's not all dour as well. It's, people like Poison, they get interviewed and they talk about how fun it is. And also is one of those things that's definitely a movie of its time. Like they literally ask, what's a headbanger? And people have to explain what headbanging is. Or you have one sort of uptight lady saying why she hates the horns. It's like, there's a 6 here, there's a 6 here, and there's a 6 here. I'm like, I guess that's a 6, and I didn't understand how she got the third 6. I guess, that's, in a way, I guess you just say a 6, but I guess, although I guess that'd be like a, but the way you see is from here, that wouldn't really be a 6, that'd be a backward 6, it'd be a D, wouldn't it? But anyway, she just didn't like heavy metal. But it's a fun, you're not going to get anything deep with it. It's just interesting to hear people like Steven Tyler and Lemmy and Ozzy and Gene Simmons just talk about that at the time, a lot of these guys, their heyday, the scene, what heavy metal meant, and rock and roll was made by people thinking with their crotches. Just the outrageous stuff that these guys said. Aerosmith said, you could really fuck to a good Aerosmith song. And stuff I just never thought I would hear. But that's what made it entertaining. But like I said, though, what puts it down a few notches is the stuff that's staged. That are staged. The guy at W.A.S.P, like, getting drunk as like, okay, no. You're playing up for the camera, or Ozzy spilling the orange juice, or Paul Stanley from Kiss with the 3 chicks. And I'm like, dude, that's not how you fucking were. They didn't come to you and you were laying there. Yeah, I don't want to move. I got these 3 chicks and come shoot me. It just made you feel like, wow, what a bunch of fucking assholes. Or some say this helped kill some people's attitudes of heavy metal. Go, wow, these guys who are either full of themselves or up their own ass or feel like they're God, teen, and country, or so drunk and dealt with drug abuse. Now, I don't know if that really affected the heavy metal scene, but there are some people that deem that. Others are like, I've never even heard of it. But it's an interesting look at a frame of time. And the music, like I said, the music was definitely, I'm more into this than punk music. But the decline of Western civilization are definitely interesting watches. The third one, I guess, deals with like grunge punk, like later on in the 90s. That one I know nothing about, so I'm not sure about that one. It's like, that's even less interesting than these two, subject-wise. But still, these are interesting stuff to watch. If you're at all into music, you're all looking back through time, give these a look. At the very least, they're pretty damn interesting and entertaining. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.